service my wife is going to have me committed. Everybody loves chocolate, or most everybody. Not everybody loves chocolate, but I would say probably a good 90% of the world loves chocolate. But for the sake of argument, everybody loves chocolate today, even if you don't. Who wants chocolate? You know that song, the Candyman, it came out of the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Remember that movie? Everybody watch that movie? Who loves that movie? You know it was a box office flop? It did not do well in the theaters, but it has become an iconic movie of our lifetime. And the young man, Charlie Bucket, that represents that child in us all that wants to have something that seems impossible, and he's able to get the golden ticket and win the favor of the infamous, or the famous Willy Wonka. But Willy Wonka, we love Willy Wonka. He's not the only candy man. We probably know most about this guy, Hershey, Milton Hershey. Hershey. Hershey was a failure in business. He actually had two businesses that failed that were confectionery businesses. And he decided that he was going to move back to near where he was born, and he was going to found the Lancaster Caramel Company. And back in the day of Milton Hershey, milk chocolate was considered a luxury item. It was only there for people who were well-to-do, and it was not for the common folk. So after about 5 or 6 years of running the Lancaster Caramel Company, I guess caramel was the blue-collar candy, Hershey decided that he was going to buy a dairy farm. He sold his Lancaster Caramel Company, and he bought a dairy farm with the idea of perfecting milk chocolate. He wanted to bring milk chocolate to the common folk. So he, over the next couple of years, over the next 3 or 4 years, had developed a formula that created the Hershey bar. The Hershey bar has been with us since the year 1900. And Milton Hershey was an instant hero for all of those who love chocolate. About 1907, 1907, Hershey had this really cool idea that he wanted to maybe create a kind of chocolate drop. So he had this machine that would spit out these cone-looking things in the form of chocolate. We know what these are, right? What are these? Kisses. Anybody ever wonder where they got their name? I'm not going to tell you. I just want to Actually, they got their name from the sound that the machine made when it spit out the chocolate. So they call them Hershey's Kisses, yes. Who wants chocolate? And there's these guys. Forrest Mars Sr.
Why do you think John is on the front row?
Yeah, it'll teach you to sit in the back.
Yeah.
Chris, is your mic on? I think so. No.
Oh.
It says it's on. Oh, it's sort of done with me. There we go. No, turn it off. There we go. I think it's on now. All right. So there you can hear me a little bit better. Forrest Mars Sr. had this idea of, he got this from a war in Europe. He noticed that these Spanish soldiers had this chocolate that was surrounded in this hard shell. And so he thought that was quite a clever idea because the chocolate didn't seem to melt that fast. So guys who were out on the field could have chocolate with them, but it wouldn't melt right away. So he decided that he was going to come back to the United States and he was going to perfect the art of wrapping the chocolate in a hardened shell. So we know the slogan of M&M's. What is the slogan? Not in your hand. It was a candy called Sharpies. And actually, M&M's were introduced in 1940. And they were only available to servicemen. They were sort of a part of the ration pack that were given to servicemen. The candy man is having all kinds of fun here. Yeah, candy man is having all kinds of fun. This is great. So finally, after the war, they became so popular with the soldiers that they wanted to go ahead and mass produce them for everyone. The same company that produced M&M's, Mars candy, decided they were going to create this famous Snickers bar. Anybody know where they got the name Snickers? Anybody want chocolate? Snickers was the name of the family horse. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They were sort of an invention that came into popularity because during the war there was quite a bit of sugar rationing. And sugar wasn't as available, it was a premium. So it was a lot more expensive to produce these other goodies. But Harry Reese said, I've got a chocolate that doesn't require as much sugar. Called the Peanut Butter Cup. And so he produced the Peanut Butter Cup, and it became an instant sensation. Remember Reese's Pieces? Sort of like the spinoff. At one time, Hershey's actually owned part of Reese's because they sort of controlled the chocolate world in the United States. And so they actually had a 20% stake in Mars, and Reese actually was an employee of Hershey's that developed this business in his basement. I wonder how many Reese's cups came out of that basement. Little closet side invention that became popular. Of course, then you have this guy, Henry Nestle, who said, man, that Milton Hershey, he's doing a lot of business over there in the United States. There's got to be somebody else who can tap into that. And so he decided to enter the American market with the Kit Kat bar. Anybody want chocolate? Then there's this guy, Peter Paul Halligan. He dropped his last name because no one really knew how to pronounce it. And he was one of the first ones to introduce fruits and chocolate and things like that together. And he actually saw this company in New Jersey he thought had a lot of potential, that had mastered the art of wrapping chocolate around coconut. And so he bought the Mounds Company. And Mounds was very popular for a number of years, and about 3 or 4 years after he bought Mounds, he decided he was going to put an almond on top. So we have the Almond Joy. Got some Tootsie Pops in here too. So, making your mouth water at all? Anybody's mouth watering, right? Almond Joy. I like these too. These are good. Some interesting things about some of the chocolatiers. Milton Hershey, I didn't know this, and he never made it a point to promote in his lifetime. You want to hold that? 30% of all Hershey's chocolates, or the profits, go to an orphanage because Milton and his wife could not have children. And it happens to be, as you can imagine, one of the most successful nonprofit organizations in the world. It has billions of dollars in reserve, and they use it strictly for helping families that are overcoming hardship. There are other chocolatiers. Of course, there was news here recently. Russell Stover, who was headquartered in Kansas City, is being bought by some Swiss company. And Russell Stover was one of the first to bring gourmet chocolates into America, along with Whitman. Whitman would travel and he would find these exquisite chocolates, and he would wrap them up in a box, and he would give them to him as the Whitman sampler. Anybody ever receive a Whitman sampler in their life? Isn't that a wonderful feeling when you get that chocolate? You're like, oh, so good. I'm going to bring this over here for a second. Anyway, the reason for this talk today is that good is all around us. At any time during the service, any one of you could have come up and taken anything out of this bowl. Who wants chocolate? At any time during the service, anyone can come up and grab anything out of this bowl. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. This was something that was inspired by my work in the prayer room. For those of you who don't know, that I am a prayer minister during the week. I work on the telephones, and I take probably 80 to 90 calls a day. I've been doing this for about 4 years. And it's quite a humbling experience, because there's so many people out there who think that God is a candy giver. We'll hear catchphrases like, I know God's going to rain down a financial blessing on me today. I know God can heal me. And I just need a money miracle today. I just need God to bless my life. Maybe, can anybody identify with those statements? Anybody ever said that to yourself? You say, I want God to bless me. The insinuation is that God is not blessing you right now in this moment. When is there a time not that God isn't blessing us, blessing our life, blessing us with what we need in that now moment? Just like the candy man. There was candy here. We had to take that initiative to reach into the bowl and take what we wanted. We had to actually do something. We actually had to have faith that there was something in the bowl and inside these packages when we reached in there. But when I said, who wants candy? Everybody expected me to just hand it out. Right? How can we come get our blessings? How can we receive our blessings? How can we live in that awareness that we have a responsibility to our faith? That we have a responsibility to take action and put movement to our feet and action in our life to obtain that which we want. We want to pray for this and we want to pray for that. And God had a great graphic. Maybe I'll pull it up here. You can see here that people see God as this: handing down money, raining candy from the sky. This is a perception that so many people have. When the truth is that God is already within us, already expressing through us, already giving us everything that we need right now. Right now, there is not a single dream that's unachievable. Everybody here is blessed with confidence. They are blessed with faith. They are blessed with ability that they need. But they have to believe it. They have to invest in that belief. They have to step forward and claim their candy. I had a person one time I was talking to about prayer, and she actually said, I don't want to die because I don't want to go to heaven. The last 20 years of my life, God's been mean to me. He's not given me anything. I thought, well, wow. He's given you 20 years of life. What have you done with it? Have you sat around and wondered why you haven't won the lottery? Have you sat around and wondered why you couldn't do this or couldn't do that? Or have you said, I'm going to do this or going to do that? There's many, many experiences that we experience in our life. And it's very easy to look at our financial situation and say, I don't have enough. But really, where is money created? Where is our resources created? It is created in the basement of our thoughts. The ideas of our mind are worth far more than any money that could ever be given to us. Now, people pray and they want God to shower them with a blessing, but they don't realize it's a blessing that they already have. The blessing of wholeness and healing. Myrtle Fillmore, for those of you who may not be familiar, was the lady who founded Unity, who affirmed, who gave thanks for the good health in her body, even though at the point in time she was praying, it was ravaged with TB. She was given a 6-month lease on life, saying, you need to put your final affairs in order. You've only got 6 months to live. And she refused to believe it. She had faith in life. She had faith in another possibility, and she lived 40 more years, never having another sick day in her life. She rebuked the sickness. Many people have been born into poverty and destitution and have found the way to build their empire. Maybe it's off the backs of somebody else. Maybe it's off of a desire to help one another. Maybe it's out of a desire to be sweet. Maybe it's out of a desire to help people get through tough situations. Maybe it's out of a desire to broaden your horizons. And maybe it's out of a desire to improve what's already out there. People have that power. It's already within them. In my years in the prayer ministry, this is what I've learned more. I'll take a typical call, and this is paraphrasing, in general, I'm sick. I can't, my body aches, my shoulder hurts, my feet hurt. I can't get rid of this headache. And sometimes I'll say to the caller, do you believe that you can be healed? Because without that belief, we're just wasting our time here on the telephone. Do you believe you can be healed? Do you believe you can be prospered? Do you believe you can have all things that you desire? Without that belief, there is nothing. So I wanted to share with you about prayer some Bible verses that support this line of thinking and how we can implement them into our life. If ye abide in me, this is from John 15:7. If ye abide in me, my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. If ye abide in me, my words abide in you. Meaning that if you have faith, and you believe that you have the power, that the faith is within you, ye shall ask, and it will be done unto you. It's from Psalm 66. This is something about non-answered prayer. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. So if you were seeing ourselves in an erred way, if we were saying, you know what, I'm just not able to be more successful because I just don't have the breaks. I don't know the right people. The Lord will not hear you. It's pretty tough stuff. Ye ask and receive not, because you ask amiss from our human consciousness, from our ego consciousness, that ye may consume it upon your lust. You're not asking for the greater good, you're asking for your own selfish reasons. From 1 John 5:14 and 15, and this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him. From Mark 11:24, therefore I say to you, what things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye have received them, and you shall have them. So we don't pray asking. We're not saying, God, please give me some candy. I want some candy. We know that we have that candy. We know that we have whatever it is that we need right here, right now. We don't necessarily have to have the money. We may have a personal friend that has a connection that is looking to use some venture capital. We never know where that dream's going to come from. Whatsoever ye ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So I appreciate those who took action today and received the candy that was available to you. And in your own lives, ask yourself, what candy is mine? Where is my almond joy? Where is the Snickers of my dream? And realize God really is the candy man or the candy person. But we have to claim it. We have to get up and we have to come receive our good. And we do that by aligning ourselves with our Christ nature, with what is not only good for us, but good for the world around us.
So let's just take that into prayer.